നമസ്കാരം. കഴിഞ്ഞ 40 വർഷത്തെ പാകിസ്ഥാൻ രാഷ്ട്രീയ ചരിത്രം ഭൂട്ടോ കുടുംബത്തിൻ്റെ ചരിത്രം കൂടിയാണ്. സുൾഫിക്കർ അലി ഭൂട്ടോ, മകൾ ബനാസിർ ഭൂട്ടോ, മകൻ മുർത്താസ ഭൂട്ടോ, മുർത്താസ ഭൂട്ടോയുടെ മകൾ ഫാത്തിമ ഭൂട്ടോ. തിരുവനന്തപുരത്ത് കൈരളി സ്റ്റുഡിയോയിൽ. ഫാത്തിമ ഭൂട്ടോ, an enchanting name, a name attached with glamour, political aura, and of course literary aura too. And you are in Trivandrum. Are you coming to Kerala for the first time?
Yes, it's my first time in South India, and I'm here to attend the Kovalam Literary Festival.
Good to be in Kerala. How
Yes.
do you like it?
Oh, very much. It's my first time in this part of India, and people are very friendly, very warm, very kind. And I think there's not so many Pakistanis who visit South India maybe. They visit
Not much.
North India. So it's nice to speak to people and to hear what they think.
But I think Gulf countries, especially Dubai, countries like Dubai, are a meeting point for Keralites and Pakistanis. They all
That's
work
true.
together, live together, and they are
That's true.
happily together always.
That's true, and so it would be nice if we can also meet together in South India and in Pakistan. We have to have more exchange.
More exchange of people, maybe business, everything.
Yes, I hope so.
Okay, Fatima Bhutto, I am reading out for our viewers a part of your speech that you have made in connection with the launch of your book, Songs of Blood and Soul. Let me read out. Fatima Bhutto പ്രസംഗിച്ചാലും അതിനകത്ത് കവിതയുണ്ട്. കവിത തുളുമ്പുന്ന അവരുടെ വാക്കുകൾ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ. 15 years ago, on the street, 7 men were murdered. The banyan trees on Clifton Road provided sniper cover for the Karachi police. The street lights were shut. The roads were cordoned off. More than 100 policemen stood waiting for my father, Murtaza Bhutto, their guns loaded and their orders undeniable. 3 men, Yar Muhammad, Sajjad Garko, and Rahim Brohi, were felled with single sniper shots as they ran to protect my father with their bodies. My father was shot several times, but he was killed with a point-blank execution shot to his jaw. They severed his tongue, hoping to silence a voice that would not fade in the face of tyranny. The men who ordered and orchestrated the assassination of Murtaza Bhutto and 6 of his associates are also with us tonight. They are the President of the Republic of Pakistan. They are the policemen promoted and celebrated who are charged with security of this, our beautiful, dangerous city, the city of Karachi. Telling, touching words, Fatima. In the background of this part of the speech that you made a couple of years back, I would like to ask you a simple question. Are you a politician or a writer?
A writer. I'm not a politician in any way. I don't belong to any party. I don't have any intention to join politics. But I think my writing is very political. And of course, I live in a place that is consumed by politics. There is a lot of politics in how we live, how we are safe, how we are not safe. So in that sense, I speak very politically, but always as a writer.
Yeah, Fatima, there is politics in your blood. There is politics in your words. There is politics in your poems and in your writings. So you are a quintessential Pakistani politician, I believe.
Well, but not in politics.
And you are from a big political family, the Bhutto family.
But you know, I think if I look at a lot of the writers I liked, a lot of the poets I liked, their work is very political. But you can hear them and you can listen to them because they are outside of politics, because they are witnesses. And what they write about is what they witness. And that's very strong in literature, I think. So when I write politically, it's always from the position of the outside. I'm never inside power. I'm always outside it, looking at it.
Do you mean to say that you have had no fascination, no passion for politics despite your having been born in this great family which has been there for the last 40 years?
Well, I am fascinated by politics, of course, and I'm very interested in politics, and I studied politics. But in my mind, there are many ways to be political outside of parliament. You can be political in your art, you can be political in your writing, you can be political in how you eat and how you treat people. And in those ways I am political. But I have no interest in joining politics or in running for elections, no.
Or becoming the Prime Minister of
No.
Pakistan one day? No way?
Absolutely not, no way.
Sitting in Trivandrum or sitting in India and looking at Pakistan, our neighboring country, and we were together before 1947, you know, I was happening to your country. You know, there is news of bloodshed, killing every now and then, every day. There is this bloody news from your country. You know, what is happening to your country?
Well, I think there are several things. The first is the war on terror has completely shaken Pakistan. It is a very strategic country in the war, and it is a country ruled by governments that do not work for the people. So the war on terror has displaced millions of Pakistanis. It has resulted in the deaths of many Pakistanis. And on top of that, we have a government that's very corrupt, that is criminally corrupt, and that has helped inflict violence on its people or has allowed foreigners to inflict violence on its people. And that leads to the picture you see today. But I do think there is a difference between the government of Pakistan, which is, as you said, bloody, very terrifying, very unusual to see from outside, and the people. The people are still the same. As you said, we were all together before 1947, and in the people's minds, that connection is there. You know, there isn't more violence amongst neighbors. There isn't more hatred or anything like that. People are still peaceful. People want freedom. People want democracy. But the government is a separate matter.
But you said, you know, war on terror. The Pakistan government has been hand in glove with the United States in the fight, in the United States fight against terror. And Pakistan has been, you know, playing a major role in that. Now there is friction, and your foreign minister, Ms. Kerr, has been called back from the UN General Assembly meeting. So there is something going on in that sector. There is a growing tension in between the United States and Pakistan. How do you view this?
Well, I think it's a very dysfunctional relationship, because if you look at America's role in Pakistan, America has never pushed for democracy in Pakistan. They have supported every military dictator in our 60-odd years of being a country. They supported General Musharraf's military regime for 8 years, and now they are supporting the most corrupt government, famously, in Pakistan for the last 3 years. And they cannot claim to be advocating for justice or liberty or democracy in Pakistan when they have this role. In the meanwhile, the government of Pakistan, as you said, is hand in glove with the United States, and there is tension because America is threatening to cut money, they're threatening to cut the aid, and I think that's the problem. But in Pakistan, we are suffering a lot of pain over we've had floods recently. There are 8 million people who are affected by these floods. 500,000 children who are at risk of diseases, but nobody is talking about them. Everybody is only interested in America.
You know, Fatima, what is going to happen to Pakistan if the US decides to cut all its aid to Pakistan? Will it be a difficult situation then for the state?
No, I hope the US cuts all its aid, because what we see now is all the money that goes to Pakistan doesn't reach the people. It reaches the people in power, but it doesn't reach the ordinary people of Pakistan. And all the money stops the democratic process, because if you have a democracy, then you allow people in different spheres to come together and work. But if one party gets a lot of money, billions of dollars, and the others don't have any money, how can they fight? It stops this democratic movement from happening. So I think most people would like Pakistan to be on its own. They would like America to stop actually giving money.
You are blaming the government of Pakistan, you are criticizing the government of Pakistan, but you know, it's being led by your own party. The
No,
PPP.
no, that's not my party. That is not my party. This is a very different PPP than the one my grandfather made. They are they are like night and day. The PPP that Zulfikar Ali Bhutto founded was a party of the poor, was a socialist party.
Yes, social commitment.
Social commitment, it had a commitment to justice, to women, to minorities. But the People's Party you see now is a party of feudals, of business interests, of the rich. It has nothing to do with the poor. It has no commitment to justice.
You were very close to Benazir, your aunt, very close during your childhood, and when she was a young woman, when she was the Prime Minister for the first time. How did it got changed?
My aunt was in power when she was outside of power. She was a very brave woman. She was a very courageous woman, and she suffered a lot in her young life because she believed in certain principles.
You were very close to Benazir, your aunt, very close during your childhood, and when she was a young woman, when she was the Prime Minister for the first time. How did it got changed?
It got changed with power. You know,
Power, you mean to say that when the power corrupted her?
Well, you see, before my aunt was in power, when she was outside of power, she was a very brave woman. She was a very courageous woman, and she suffered a lot in her young life because she believed in certain principles. And when she came into power, she became a force that made other people suffer. She became the power, she replaced the power that had hurt her. And at that point, our relationship changed. She became a different person, I felt.
And the night that day, in front of your house, 70 Clifton Road, Karachi, your father was killed by policemen of Karachi. That was masterminded by Sardari, your own husband, and your own Benazir Bhutto was the Prime Minister then. What was her reaction to the killing? You tried to, there is right, you know,
Yes.
you tried to contact that family on the phone without your knowing that your father was already killed.
Yes, that's right. Well, her reaction was
You didn't
was
get her
several.
online that day.
No, I couldn't reach her online. I tried to reach my aunt because we were inside the house. So when all the shooting was happening, we were very close. We
You
could
thought that
hear
it was a robbery going around or something like that?
No, we didn't know, and we weren't allowed to leave our house. The police stopped us from leaving the house. So the police said there is a robbery in the neighborhood, stay inside. But we were waiting for my father, and he hadn't come home. And this was before cell phones or mobile phones,
Yes.
so we had no way to reach him. So I called the Prime Minister's house, and I couldn't reach my aunt. They wouldn't put me through to her.
Only Sardari took the phone?
He took the phone and he said to me, you can't talk to your aunt, she can't come to the phone. I was very young, I was only 14, and when I asked, I need to speak to her, he said, don't you know your father's been shot? So that's how we found out. But her reaction to the murder afterwards was very disappointing. She arrested all of the witnesses who stayed in jail until her government fell. But all the policemen were not arrested. They were cleared in a police review, and they carried on working.
They were promoted, celebrated?
They were promoted under every government since then. So in the last 15 years, they are still in the force, in the police force. They have been promoted once, twice, 3 times.
You know all of them personally?
I don't know them personally. I know them. I know their names. I know their face. They hold federal positions. So one of the police officers is the chief of police of the Sindh province, where I live.
Yeah.
And this started from the very beginning. My aunt's government also stopped us from filing a police case, from filing an FIR. So it was very clear very early on that we were not going to get justice in this case.
Since then you haven't met her or you haven't spoken to her?
No, I spoke to my aunt last, maybe in 1998 or...
Okay.
Yeah, a long
Okay.
time ago.
How do you feel when she received the same fate on the street during election campaign? What was your feeling about that?
You know, she was the 4th member of the family to die in these violent ways.
Fourth Bhutto.
The 4th Bhutto. To see the 4th member in this family die from violence unnaturally at a young age it was like deja vu. You know, we had
Yes.
seen it before. It was like every 10 years this happened.
There is a killing in the family.
But of course, at the time I said it's like every 10 years there is a killing in the family. But every day in our part of the world, whether it's Bangladesh or India or Pakistan, there is this legacy of violence. There is a political violence. There is a violence of the powerful. And that happens every day.
You see here the recent killing of Osama bin Laden in Abbottabad in your country. The American Navy SEALs marched into your country, you know, braving all the barriers, defense barriers, precisely went to the house of Osama bin Laden, got him killed within a matter of minutes. So this is a failure of the government, the defense mechanism, everything failed. Why did it happen in a country like Pakistan, which has got advanced military systems?
Well, now this is an interesting question because in my mind, the operation to kill Osama could not have happened without Pakistani help. Pakistan had to have helped, otherwise it would have been impossible to do. But of course, you know, now it's several months later, we still don't have a confirmation from the government. There is a lot of silence around politics in our part of the world. So that's something we are still waiting to have confirmed.
Okay, the growing terrorism in your country, is it posing some kind of problem for the growth of the development of the nation?
Yes.
There are so many terrorist modules in your country, and some of them are operating against our country, India. Isn't it very bad for two countries living nearby?
Well, it's very bad for two countries like ours, not only living nearby, but we used to be one family. And it's very bad that we now have separated in the way we have separated. So it's very difficult for people from either country to travel. It's very difficult for us to get your news. It's difficult for you to get our news. These are all very big problems. But in terms of the violence, I think, unfortunately, this is a global problem. This is not a problem only related to Pakistan. We see all over the world, whether it's Europe or America or Africa, this problem of terror. Again, if we look at any country that the American army has gone into, that the American war on terror has gone into, countries that were perfectly peaceful beforehand have now erupted in violence. Iraq never had one suicide bomb in its life. Now it has them every day. You have a country, Iraq, used to be secular. Now it's run by religious lines. The same you see in Afghanistan and the same you're seeing in Pakistan. But the important thing I think to say is that Pakistani people suffer under this violence and they suffer under this terror. They also want freedom from it. But they also, when you talk about development, what really hurts development is corruption. There is a tremendous corruption in our country that hurts development more than violence.
Are you happy about being there in Pakistan?
And in Pakistan now you have a lot of signs of religion everywhere because people are very unhappy about this war on terror. They are very unhappy about the way it's fought in their country.
Okay, of course, you know, you were talking about terrorism and corruption going together. So I would like to say, isn't it because of the influence or over-dominance of religion in your country? Because in India, we, in a way, are very happy to be in a country like India. We are very proud to be in a country like India where it's a secular government. We don't have any religious dominance over here. Mind you, remember that, you know, we have got more Muslims that you Pakistan has.
Yes.
Still, in spite of the fact, neither the Islamist forces, religious heads or religious groups, nor any other groups like Hindus, it's a Hindu majority country. None of these organizations, none of these religions aspire to get into the rule, into the governance. But yours is an Islamist country. Isn't it the reason? Are you happy about being there in Pakistan?
Well, I think these are several questions. I mean, I think obviously India had a BJP government for a long time. So that is...
But that was...
Well,
yeah.
So there's a thing there. But also I think when we talk about religion in Pakistan, it really, this growth that you're seeing now, it starts in the 1980s when the war in Afghanistan was being fought. against the Soviets, and Pakistan was used to fight the Soviets. And a lot of money was given to these people from the CIA, from America, to fight a jihad. Now, America finished and went home, but these people were left in our part of the world. And if you see now increased religion in a political or in a public sphere in Pakistan, it's not only about religion, these are political statements. Just like after the French left Algeria, you saw a lot of people in Algeria, a lot of women used to cover themselves, not because they were fundamentalists, but because it was a statement against the French, against colonialism, against occupation. And in Pakistan now you have a lot of signs of religion everywhere, because people are very unhappy about this war on terror. They are very unhappy about the way it's fought in their country. So I see it also as a political statement. If Pakistan had a government that listened to its people, that said, we will, of course, we want to fight terror, but we will fight it in a way that is just, that is ethical, that is morally sound, I don't think you would see this sort of growing issue of religion in Pakistan. So I really put it down more to politics.
But my last question, what about visualizing Pakistan to be a secular country, where all religions are free? Will you be able to, will you be bold enough to advocate that thought?
Oh, many people advocate that thought. If you look at the city of Karachi, where I come from, Karachi used to be a home, it still is, but it was a very free home for Hindus and Muslims and Christians and Parsis, Sikhs, and even Jews used to live in Karachi.
For your information, there are so many Malayalis there in Karachi.
Yes, of
They
course.
were there before partition. They didn't know that the country was divided into two countries.
Exactly.
Because they had to stay back.
And you have, there's a Goan community in Karachi, there is an Afghan community. So it was the best imagination for what Pakistan should be, that it should be a place for everybody to live happily. So I hope very much that we will see that again in the future.
Thank you very much, Fatima Bhutto. Thank you very much for the time that you have spent. And of course, thanks to Binika John and S. Suresh. He is the MD of MD Niche, who has brought you here into this Kairali studio. Thank you very much once again, and all the best for all your endeavors politically and literature-wise. Thank you very much.